Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome on behalf of the whole Citrix Ready team as well as Dell Technologies. Today I have an exciting webinar at hand. We've joined hands with Dell and we have some exciting content about how you can use Dell's next-gen thin client and software, combine that, the magic that we do with Citrix DaaS, and how that can help you optimize your IT environment. So more on that, when our speakers come on in very short duration of time. Just a few housekeeping details. This webinar is being recorded and all of you will receive a copy in the next 48 hours. If you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to use the Q&A panel on your GoToWebinar platform. If the questions are relevant only to you, I'll try and answer them on chat if they're relevant to everyone. We have a formal Q&A session at the end of the webinar and we'll take all the questions there. With that, let me first bring on our speakers. So let me start with Terry, my colleague and good friend. Terry, you want to tell the audience who you are and what you do?
Yeah, certainly. So my name's Terry Hashley. I'm a lead sales engineer for the enterprise region, Northeast region. So I cover all enterprise customers, about 5,000 employees and above, and talk all things technology around Citrix. Any Citrix questions, any technology concerns, that's what I'm here for.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Terry. And obviously our guest of honor today, Fred. Fred, do you want to come on real quick and talk about what you do at Dell?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. My name is Fred Weibel. I basically have been with Dell and with Wyse for now going on 34 years. Currently, I am the product owner for ThinOS, but definitely well-versed in any of our embedded client offerings. That includes our Dell hybrid client and also our Windows embedded technology based off of 2021 LTSC.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Fred. I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. If you can please help me move to the next slide. I'll spend a quick 1 minute talking about what Citrix Ready is. So Citrix Ready is a program at Citrix where we try and validate third-party partner products so that when you deploy these technologies on top of your Citrix stack, you have a seamless experience. We've been doing this for the past 13 odd years now, and all the products and technologies that you'll explore in the webinar today have undergone a robust testing by Citrix, and we've given it a stamp of approval in terms of its compatibility with Citrix. We obviously have tons of products and tons of technologies that we've verified. So in case you're interested, there's a URL at the bottom of the slide, citrixready.citrix.com. Please take a look, explore any technology that you want to deploy on top of your Citrix stack is available there. Next slide, please. We are also running a promo on this webinar. So every 10th attendee on this webinar will be eligible for an Amazon Echo Dot. Unfortunately, we can only ship the device within US and Canada. If you're based outside of these two countries, my apologies. Because of logistics challenge, we won't be able to ship them outside. And please stay to the end of the webinar and I'll tell you how to claim your gift. With that, let me hand it over to Terry to walk you through the presentation. Terry, over to you.
Thank you very much, Rubel.
Terry, we've lost your audio.
Oh, it remuted on me. So just touching on the beginning of everything, I want to start out talking through the entire Citrix product stack. Looks like, there we go. With this product stack, what we have is our entire solution from end to end. The idea of Citrix is that we connect people using devices across any location, getting them the work solutions they need, using the platforms as a back end to deliver all of the connectivity and platforms they need, the applications, the desktops, the web apps, the SaaS apps, etc., that a user needs to do the work they need to do. And we don't care where those workloads actually reside, whether it's in your own data center, a public cloud, or what we call hyperscalers, branch offices, SaaS and web apps where you're subscribing to services. We provide connectivity through all of those solutions. So taking a look at this bubble in the center here, we want to ensure that users have access, but ensure it's secure access. Give them a zero trust model that's contextually aware letting them say, I want to log in, consume my applications. It contextually says, this is where the application is, this is where the user is. Let's ensure it's the most secure form of access ever. We typically have our VDI story that you're used to hearing with Citrix. We have Citrix DaaS now, which is our cloud solution. And we also have SaaS and web app integration, as I've mentioned before, where we're able to deliver those SaaS and web apps without having to publish a browser any longer. It's built into our Citrix Enterprise browser moving forward. We have our traditional content collaboration, workflows, and collaborative work management work solutions. But this is all to say this bubble of access and control for a user to come in and do the work they need to do, we are that cohesive solution. We deliver it all for the user. Next slide, please. Speaking specifically to Citrix DaaS today, because we're working with Dell and showing that partnership, we provide access to on-premises locations, cloud locations, let's say your company is going through that entire transformation, but also that hybrid environment where it doesn't matter where the application lives, where the data lives, we allow you to get access to it so you can consume it in your transformative journey through your IT efforts. Things like Windows and server desktop applications, just like you're used to using, Linux applications, multi-session desktops, hosted shared, DaaS as a whole with cloud offerings, giving you connectivity to the web and SaaS apps with that contextual security and single sign-on. We provide all of that access to you today. Going into the next slide. Jumping into a little bit of a technical piece. With Citrix DaaS, what we're doing is removing the complexity of what's inside your data center. Traditionally, you're used to running Citrix farms on-premise and maintaining delivery controllers and database SQL technologies, license server, Studio. You maintained all of these components. We're working and scaling that back so you have less to be concerned about and more time to be focused on that user's experience and ensuring they can get the work done that they need to do. You have these connector appliances that are connected from your environments into Citrix DaaS, whether those environments be Microsoft Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, on-prem, even in locations like Oracle Cloud or things like that. We are very diverse in what clouds we support or what locations we support. The connector software is installed on a simple Windows server. It connects to Citrix DaaS. It allows that delivery of those applications or desktops. That's what's important. Simplicity to get connected to your applications while ensuring that they're secure, reducing overall complexity, giving you a better disaster recovery story, and we are architected to handle those service failures. If we have any questions on these, we'll be happy to address them near the end. But moving forward, let's go ahead and switch over to Fred, where he's going to start touching on some of the Dell technologies we're here to talk about today. Fred?
Hey, Terry. Thank you once again for hosting us. The relationship that we've had between Dell and Citrix goes back many decades. I remember when we were first working together with Citrix in the 90s, putting together the initial thin client devices, and the technology has just over the subsequent decades just grown to be more exciting, a lot more capabilities than we've had, and our strong partnership with Citrix has been a large part of our success at Dell with our endpoint devices. As we know, work is changing. And in the last few years in particular, we've seen a great emphasis on individuals needing to move from task-based workers that are just interacting with virtual machines and going through and doing things like word processing applications, going through and doing Excel spreadsheets and database applications, to where we have a more collaborative workforce that needs to have basically access to a lot of the latest technologies, especially in the unified communication space and multimedia space. So we have seen a large shift in that particular arena from the old task-based users into the knowledge-based users as well, that require access to like Microsoft Teams optimization, or Zoom or Cisco WebEx in order to collaborate with other peers in their corporations and between corporations as well. We've also seen a large shift for hybrid workers and remote workers as well. Especially with the onset of COVID, it basically drove a lot of the corporations to reinvest and reimagine how their workforce is going to be when they're going into this next decade of products. And Dell has basically gone through and has responded to that as well by making sure that with all of our endpoints, no matter which one that you select, that we have the ability to do anytime, anywhere access to both your management solutions for your endpoints, as well as your virtual machines or your SaaS applications. We work very closely with Citrix to make sure that our products are specifically designed and certified by them to be able to access their environments. So let's go ahead and explore this a little bit more. So as we have individuals going through and having this changing workforce, especially with more people working hybrid or remote, we have to ensure that we have access to all of the environments, no matter where that data resides. Dell, we offer 3 OS solutions for our clients, just to make sure that customers can go through and pick which operating system solution is going to best meet the needs of their customers, no matter where they're at, no matter if they're working in the office, no matter if they're working 100% from the remote office, or doing a hybrid and going between the two. Collaboration is key, as we noted as well. We have 6 unified communication tools that we have optimized in our client solutions. So these are deployment ready out of the box. You have the ability to take the technology, hook up to your Citrix data centers, and be able to then go through and utilize things like Microsoft Teams optimization to basically collaborate with your peers in your company. In addition to that, no matter where the device resides, whether it's internal or especially when it becomes external or in home offices, we need to ensure security in it. And it's security not only between the client and the environment, such as a Citrix DaaS or a Citrix VDI environment, to where your application and data resides, but it's also making sure that the client is securely managed as well, that you have the ability to go through and have anytime, anywhere management with cloud solution offerings to where you can monitor the devices and you can adjust the devices, making any type of change to updating the applications, updating the operating system, or making any adjustments on the configurations that you need to instantaneously to basically be able to maintain those connections to your virtual environments. With Dell, we are shifting our strategy more to a software-defined strategy for our endpoint devices. Most of you may be familiar with our old Wyse product line that we basically have had since inception, to where we had purpose-built devices with Wyse labels and logos stamped on them that we use to deliver our operating systems. As we progress into this next generation of products, we are working closely with the OptiPlex, Latitude, and Precision lines of business here at Dell to bring out our embedded offerings on these technologies. So you have technologies that have a higher performance to have a better user experience when you're working in your Citrix environments. You have more consistency and simplicity, since if you want to have a mixed or a hybrid environment where you have both a mixture of like personal computers running Windows or Linux operating systems along with your thin client devices, you can basically have similar or identical platforms that are basically being able to deliver both of those workloads. And we have a greater flexibility in choices, more configuration options so that you will be seeing on our products, along with the ability to go through and have a more feature-rich ecosystem for your peripheral device selections as well. So you now have a broader range of pre-qualified devices that will be working with our technologies as we are basically attaching to the Citrix environments and being able to access the apps and data and present those on our endpoint solutions. Our latest device that we've introduced earlier this year was the OptiPlex 3000 Thin Client. This is our next generation of technology. It's a successor to the old Wyse 5070 desktop devices that we are now phasing in the process of phasing out of production, moving to the OptiPlex 3000 TC as a move forward platform. It is a device that is specifically built for doing virtual computing. It can be managed with Wyse Management Suite. Wyse Management Suite Pro is always recommended so that you can have either a total cloud-based and a public cloud-based solution or a hybrid solution where you may have an on-premise server and a cloud-based server that are collaborating together. It is a passive cooling system, so it is a quiet device supporting up to 3 4K monitors, and it does have a longer life cycle. It is slated to be in production for a 48-month period. It was introduced in March of this year, and it is a device that we will be supporting for at least 3 years after it goes out of production as well. So you can rest assured that if you're purchasing devices now with the OptiPlex 3000 TC and transitioning over to this technology, that you will be able to utilize it and we will be supported for an extended period of time. Okay. As we said, we're moving more towards this software first approach. As you see us transitioning through the rest of this year and into the beginning of next year, you will be seeing more offerings and other form factors such as laptop and all-in-one form factors that Dell will be introducing that is going to be based off of the Latitude, Precision, and OptiPlex technologies as well. But our software-defined strategy is basically enabling us to bring to the market higher performance devices, more feature-rich devices to which you can then access your Citrix environments and provide a better user experience. These devices are all easy to manage, especially when you're using our Wyse Management Suite product. So let's go ahead and look at this a little bit further as far as how this modernization applies to our portfolio. As we said, we have different digital workspaces that we're trying to go through and ensure that we can have connectivity to. We have the traditional VDI solutions that we have, but we also have product offerings with our Dell Hybrid Client and Windows Embedded that allow for access into cloud and SaaS-based environments as well. Let's go ahead and explore that a little bit further. So as you look here, all of our products, no matter what the operating system selection is, and no matter what capabilities those products have, can all be managed from Wyse Management Suite. So if you need to have a variety of products in order to meet different use cases from your customers and your users in your environment, you can feel assured that if you selected ThinOS for some of your use cases or Windows Embedded for others, you can manage all of those devices using our Wyse Management Suite. ThinOS, to start off with, as far as introducing our OSs, is one of our oldest operating systems, and it is specifically designed for virtual desktops and applications. Now, ThinOS has recently gone through a refresh to where it has been modernized, and we'll discuss that more in the upcoming slides. But this particular operating system is specifically designed for customers who just need access to like a virtual environment to run the desktops and applications from a virtual environment. However, we recognize that there is a need for environments to do more at times. So if you have a need to do things such as access to cloud-based or SaaS-based applications, or if you need to run local-based applications or a browser, we have the Dell hybrid client, which basically operates off of Ubuntu Linux. And we also have our Windows 10 IoTE-based clients that is available and basically has the capabilities to go through and access those environments as well. So no matter where your data resides, no matter what Citrix technology that you are using, whether it's a traditional virtual VDI implementation, or a cloud-based or a SaaS-based app implementation, we have devices that can fulfill all those needs.
Yeah, and just to jump in here real quick, Fred, one of the major advantages, Thin OS is the Thin OS that we know and love across the entire industry. Dell has worked more and more towards getting it, while it's a closed operating system to say, or a hardened operating system in that sense, they are moving towards that using our native Citrix Workspace app for Linux. Then when we get to the hybrid client, that is exactly what Dell is using. They're using the native Citrix Workspace app for Linux, and then Windows 10 IoT, native Windows Citrix Workspace app, which means that hybrid client and that Windows 10 IoT device, you get end-to-end support for user issues or just session control or things like that when they come up. You can call Citrix and get end-to-end support. We don't have to play tag on support between Dell and Citrix, which I know historically can happen sometimes. So that is one of those benefits of that hybrid client as well as the Windows 10 IoT Enterprise. Just wanted to jump in and say that as well.
Thank you, Terry. So to proceed on, Wyse Management Suite, as we said, is our recommended management solution for all of our client devices. This particular tool has the ability to run either in a public cloud, a private cloud, or a hybrid mixture of both. Wyse Management Suite was actually designed as a public cloud offering, and it was introduced into public cloud first and then later adapted to having an on-premise version. So what this means is that unlike other offerings from competitors at times, this particular tool was specifically designed and has advanced features such as AD integration and role-based administration, high availability. It has a zero time to productivity to where if you're using the cloud instance, all you have to do is go to the Wyse Management Suite site. You can sign up for a free trial, and within seconds, you can be connected to a tenant and start configuring your devices and attaching your devices to that tenant and be able to use it the way that you need to do. It also has a lot of grouping capabilities so that if you need to have different groups organized within your corporation, whether it's based upon device groups, whether it's based upon users and user workflows, or a mixture of the two, all of those can be achieved using Wyse Management Suite to where you can actually create different groups based upon devices or based on users or a combination of the both to deliver the configurations and the imaging applications and settings that you need in order to manage your devices.
Right, quick question from Amit in the audience about Wyse Management Suite. The question is, does it have the ability to report on, say, workspace versions? For example, can you pull a list of all the devices that are running a specific version of Citrix receiver, so you know which devices to upgrade?
Absolutely, and it not only does that, but it even has compliance capabilities so that you can define what you want your devices to be configured as. And when they check into Wyse Management Suite, you can go through and view all of the devices. This particular screen that we're on right now, you're actually looking at a physical device, and if you look down at the name of the installed applications, you can see the version of Citrix that is actually installed, along with some of like the unified communication optimization package for Zoom that is installed for it as well. So absolutely, you have the capabilities to go through and monitor the devices to ensure they're in compliance. And you have the ability using either our groups and configs to define what you want your environments to be, or using the apps and data configurations to where you can actually create jobs with the conditions you want in order to push out the packages, updates for example, Citrix workspace app to all of your population of your client devices based upon whatever criteria, whether you want it to be pushed at night and the updates to occur then, or if you want them to occur on the next check-in. We have flexibility as far as in different ways to ensure that your devices are at the level containing all of the components, partner components that we support are up to date. And basically, we have ways to viewing individual devices as well as compliance settings to make sure that those devices indeed have updated and are adhering to the policies that you have established. So to jump in, we're going to talk about ThinOS starting off first here. As we had stated before, ThinOS is specifically designed for virtual computing. If you need to have more capabilities, such as installing local applications to meet your needs, or if you have the need for a browser in order to basically go through and attach to web-based applications, we do have those offerings that are available on Dell Hybrid Client or Windows products. But if you're looking more for a device that is extremely secure, it is the world's most secure thin client operating system. And if you're looking for a device that has an extremely small footprint, it has zero touch deployment and management, a device that you need to use in remote and home offices in particular, connecting to virtual environments, ThinOS is the device that we recommend. ThinOS has actually been an operating system that we have, a purpose-built operating system that was developed by Wyse and is now owned by Dell, and we continue to advance. And this next generation, our ThinOS 9 operating system, it basically has the capabilities to use a lot of components from Linux, as noted before. So the same Citrix workspace app for Linux that you will be seeing like in the Dell hybrid clients is also embedded into ThinOS as well. So you have that same level of features and functionalities that you can offer to your customers. We have the ability to then rapidly update to new technologies, whereas in the past we had a purpose-built solution based on Citrix Receiver that was updated once or twice per year. Now we are working with Citrix every 6 weeks to evaluate their latest releases and basically integrate and include those in our technologies for ThinOS as well.
Something to touch on here, Fred. As we can see in the screenshot here for the configuration controls, Dell and Citrix are working very closely together, up to and including enabling that Citrix workspace mode. So now when customers are using Citrix DaaS and moving to that complete experience with the Citrix workspace experience, it's a checkbox away, or a slider in this case, right? We hit that slider, we type in the address for the Citrix workspace tenant, and that's it. The user has access. It's configured automatically by the control panel, and users don't have to worry about anything other than logging in at the workstation or at the thin client.
And one of the great things about the ThinOS technology and our Dell hybrid client technology is we have common configuration menus. So all of the client configurations, all of our partner configurations show up in a single panel, and the configurations can be accessed locally at the client device, or the same menu can be accessed through Wyse Management Suite. So you don't have to go through and learn multiple interfaces. Once you have gone through and learned the configuration control interface for ThinOS on the client, when you want to configure the device in a group and push down the configurations to an entire group of devices, you can have the ability to do that through that common interface. And as we have said, the Citrix configurations are brought into that as well. So you have that single pane, so that if you need to set up or change any of your configurations to point to a different environment or having different properties or characteristics within your Citrix sessions, you have the ability to do that in the same menu that you're using to go through and basically define your peripherals that are locally attached to the device. Dell Hybrid Client is also a newer offering to us. It's based on Ubuntu Linux with a framework over top of it, and it broadens the capabilities of the client, making it not only usable in like virtual environments, but it is specifically designed to basically be implemented into cloud-based environments with SaaS apps, and also the ability to run local applications and browser using a local browser as well, to where you have aggregated storage to it that is basically off of the device, so that as you're moving between devices, you can still continue to access your apps and data even when you're migrating between devices. So Dell Hybrid Client was basically designed for trying to overcome a lot of the issues that the users have when they're trying to have a client or an endpoint replacement for their full-blown Windows or Linux implementations that they have currently today. What Dell Hybrid Client brings to the table is it gives you an easy way to migrate into a cloud-based solution. It has the security and flexibility to deliver those seamless workloads to your units. It has the simplified deployment mechanisms, as does with ThinOS, to where you can actually just attach devices to your network and use environmental variables such as DHCP options or DNS records to point it to the management server, so that it can then go through and deliver all of the configurations that you require, and also go through and provide you with all of the updates, application updates or OS updates that you need in order to meet your needs. So it takes a lot of the time-consuming tasks and simplifies them, and it has a simplified shell as well for basically being able to publish the resources that you need in order to connect to your VDI and cloud and local resources. And it does all of this with the single sign-on capability, so that you have the ability to go through, and when you sign on once, you don't have to go through and sign on multiple times to get access to these particular resources.
Another thing to add here, we talked about it using the native workspace app for Linux, Citrix workspace app for Linux. Another piece, because it's the Ubuntu OS, things like Citrix's secure internet access agent, those also can be installed, so you can protect these endpoints no matter where they are. You gain that control with the Citrix product stack. It's natively supported because it's a Linux operating system running on the back end. So that's makes it even more extensible for people to be able to consume the different Citrix stack and protect the user experience.
Last but not least, we continue to market our Windows 10 IoTE enterprise solution. Our latest Optiplex 3000 TC is now running 2021 LTSC. And as with all Windows operating systems, it has the ability to hook up to those virtual desktops and apps, and it contains that local browser along with having the flexibility to run the majority of Windows applications, device drivers, and services. So this client is extremely flexible. So if you need to have specialized security software that your organization has settled on, or if you have specialized equipment that require those local device drivers to be installed that is attaching to the client to operate, Windows 10 Enterprise Solutions gives you that degree of flexibility that is not found in some of the other offerings. Looking at our offering, and just to dig into it in a little bit in detail, it is user-friendly. So we do have a desktop shell so that we can secure the desktop and allow you to publish only the applications that you want your users to have. It is VDI ready. It comes with Citrix Workspace app along with the unified communications optimizations built in out of the box. It is extremely flexible, and not only from having like third-party applications and device drivers that can be installed and added to this client device, but also in your choice of management solutions, where we always recommend Wyse Management Suite because we feel it is the best solution. If you have already invested in alternative solutions that run on your Windows clients, those two can be utilized on our endpoint devices as well. It is extremely secure. It does have the secure boot, the TPM technology, along with the right filter technologies that basically helps protect the device against intrusion. And it can be tailored, and the device can be expanded out to meet your needs. If you have a need to basically have an extremely flexible device in order to meet your needs, that if you're going beyond VDI, which ThinOS is tailored to, Windows Embedded is the choice that you want to be looking and exploring.
Speaking to that beyond VDI, that's where things like Citrix Secure Private Access come into the mix, where we publish those SaaS and web apps and use that built-in Citrix Workspace enterprise browser. You get connectivity, SaaS and web apps. You get connectivity to your VDIs, your applications that you're traditionally deploying. You get controls with the Secure Internet Access Agent. You can deploy things like having simple applications like PuTTY on the device as well, and using Secure Private Access to tunnel directly, per app tunnel directly into your environment without needing a true full VPN solution. These are all those great things that with this partnership between Dell and Citrix, we're able to enable those technologies because of it being Windows on the back end. It makes it much easier for us to integrate with our existing solution stack as well.
Fantastic. So we are better together. As we have said, all of our devices are deployment ready. They come standard with Citrix Workspace app. They have the unified communications optimizations built out when they come out of the box, and you do have flexibility, not only in the applications and the environments to where you can attach to, but also the device form factors that you have available to you as well. All of our devices are Citrix certified. We work closely with Citrix to make sure that we have the Citrix Ready certifications for cloud, endpoint premiums, and endpoints for all of our solutions. And also this slide will go in just a little bit further, showing you the different form factors that are available depending upon which operating system. As you can see, no matter which device, that operating system that you decide to select that best is going to meet your needs, you do have a choice of desktop, laptop, and all-in-one form factors that these devices can utilize in order to fulfill those particular needs. For additional information on our devices too, we've included in this presentation a few QR codes here to where you can scan and get access to like a hands-on lab for ThinOS or an interactive demo for Dell Hybrid Client, or the Wyse Management Suite site to where you can actually subscribe for a free trial so that you can sign up and actually test Wyse Management Suite free of charge for a period of time. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over and for basically some additional information on claiming your gifts.
Thank you so much, Fred, and thanks, Terry, for the wonderful presentations. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the gift's pretty simple. If you're the lucky ones, expect a quick email from us in the next 48 hours. And once you respond to that email, we'll get your gift shipped to you real quick. Now let's move into Q&A. I have a bunch of questions that's already come in, but in case anybody wants to come on the webinar and speak out their question, please feel free to raise your hand on the GoToWebinar platform, and I'll allow you to unmute. I have a question. I have a bunch of questions, Fred, for you around the Optiplex 3000. All of them are around, is there a plan to launch an all-in-one Optiplex 3000 system? And does it or will it support Windows?
We have a plan. Well, the Optiplex 3000 TC is currently available with any of the 3 operating system choices. You can order it with ThinOS, Wyse, IoTe 2021 LTSC, or you can order it with Ubuntu Linux with the Dell Hybrid Client. As far as an AIO, we are working with the other lines of businesses to announce some products in the future here. They haven't crossed over the milestone yet to where we can put them onto our NDA roadmap and share it with select customers, but that will be happening here in the near future. So we will be maintaining and providing consistency by ensuring our customers do have access to both AIOs and mobile form factors as we transition into the software strategy and basically transition to leveraged hardware coming from the other Dell lines of businesses.
Awesome. Thanks, Fred. Another question on Wyse Management Suite. How does patching for Windows work and what's the frequency? Also, how does that work with devices that are remote from the data center?
Well, as we said, there's 2 offerings you have, 2 ways that you can have Wyse Management Suite Pro deployed. You can use the public cloud, or you can set it up on-premise and use a private cloud. If you're using our public cloud solution, it does have availability to use items such as repository and create jobs to where you can take security patches, Citrix updates, or any other item that you want to, and basically mass deploy them to a group of clients that are basically in a group. And the ability exists to where you can actually automate all of this so that you basically set up the conditions that you want those jobs to be run in, so that when the device is attached, when those conditions are met, it will automatically go through and complete the process of updating those devices. And since you do have that cloud option available to you, if you have remote sites, if you have home users that actually need to have devices updated, Wyse Management Suite Pro does have those capabilities of reaching out to those home offices.
And is there any additional cost for the Wyse Management Suite?
Wyse Management Suite Pro is a subscription-based product. So there is a per seat charge for that particular offering. So it basically has a $20 list price on that particular offering per seat per year. If you're interested in that product, though, you should definitely sign up for the trial and then reach out to your local Dell sales representative who can basically explain more about that technology.
Awesome. And this one, I think any of you can answer. Are there any tools to migrate current users on traditional laptops to a virtual desktop hosted in DaaS?
So tools, the questions around it, can you migrate a user from a laptop to a VDI in DaaS? Is that what we're asking?
Correct. And I assume the question is, what's the best way to do it?
Yeah, it's a story to look at for each customer, really, because the complexity of what can be installed on a laptop and what you want to put into VDI. Of course, we could just image that laptop and put that image up in the cloud and serve it up as a VDI for the user and give them a thin client so that they can access it. Of course, we could do that. If they need physical access to the laptop, we could use what's called remote PC access and just let them access what they already have. Or if you're looking at more enterprise and you're trying to say, you know, we have 100 users, 200 users, 1,000 users that we're looking to do this for, let's create normalized user personas and create images based on those personas and really make it a true rollout across the enterprise. That's also a capability. It really is, it's tailor fit for the organization though. It's not a one size fits all for sure.
Okay, gotcha. Fred, this one's for you again. If a device in a group is offline during the patch or deployment window, and then it comes online a week later, will it automatically pull down the update and apply it like a standing deployment in SCCM?
Absolutely. So it basically all of your jobs that you set up when you're using your Linux or your Windows offerings, or in ThinOS, it's even more simplified when you're defining the packages that you desire along with the OS updates in your groups and configs. ThinOS in particular is set up to where every time the device comes online, the first thing it does is it checks in, it goes to the group policy settings, and it basically looks at your desired list of base OS versions that you would like, along with application versions and configurations you want. And if adjustments need to be made at that point in time, it has the capabilities to go through and make the adjustments and updates to clients. So clients do not need to be online at the time that the jobs are actually set up and established. Whenever the clients come online and check in with Wyse Management Suite, they will go through and get those particular updates as well. And even more important is that if for some reason your clients can't reach and they have service interrupted going to Wyse Management Suite, whether it's on-premise or in the cloud, the client configurations are cached. So you still have the ability to work off of your virtual environments and proceed uninterrupted. And as soon as the connections are reestablished, the devices will check in and then see if there's any configuration changes that are required or any OS or application updates that need to be basically moved down and implemented to the client devices.
Awesome, thank you. I think we're at the end of our 45 minutes. So before we wrap this up, Fred, any final words?
I'm just very happy once again. As I said, this relationship between Dell and Citrix goes back an decades, and we're very happy to be part of this webinar today, and very happy about the relationship that we've had in the industry with our partners here at Citrix. We believe that our customers have benefited through our collaboration and basically integrating and supporting each other's technologies and solutions. So thank you once again for hosting us today.
Thank you, Fred. Terry?
I just appreciate the opportunity to co-present with Fred here and the Dell team. It's been a great experience, and the technologies as a whole, like Fred mentioned, we've been going back decades working together, and it continues to improve year over year, month over month. As Fred said, we've got now rolling cadences where we're doing this multiple times a year instead of just twice. So it's great. The partnership is great, and we're continuing to just overall make that experience better for our customers. Thanks.
Thanks, Terry. And thanks again, Fred. It's been a wonderful webinar, and thank you for speaking to our audience. And ladies and gentlemen, a big thanks to you for taking the time to go through our webinar. This is Rubal Walia signing off for now, but I'll see you guys on our next webinar. Bye-bye.
Bye, all. Thanks.